everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking all about how you can use your menstrual cycle, your monthly cycle, your period, whatever you want to call it, to your advantage and make yourself more productive. So if that is something that you're curious about or interested in, then just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, then hello, my name is Sarah-Jayne. I am mum to one little girl called Ella. She is currently 20 months old and absolutely amazing. On this channel you'll find inspiration of all different things, from home life, family life, and also personal development as well. So I would love to have you as a subscriber if that's the kind of content that you like. Okay, so I know a lot of you are going to be thinking, what on earth is she talking about? How can my period possibly make me more productive? Because let's face it, a woman's monthly cycle can be full of highs and lows, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Now, this theory isn't actually my theory. I have read a book just recently which is absolutely amazing. I resonated with it on so many levels, and that is called Do Less by Kate Northrup. I think I'm pronouncing her surname right, but it is an amazing book, and as I say, I resonated with it on so many levels. I would highly recommend that book, whether you buy the actual book itself or get it from Audible like I did. I'm actually a better thinker when I'm listening to something rather than I'm reading, so I like to use Audible, and it means that I can be doing other things at the same time. So I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to get it off Amazon or Audible. I'll leave some links in there for you so that you're getting the right one, but I can highly recommend it. Now, Kate talks all about this theory that she has, and it has a lot of evidence to back it up as well. I'm just going to talk about a small part of the book, but one of the main parts, and then I'll leave you to read the rest if that's what you want to do. But basically she's talking about a woman's monthly cycle. Now, a woman's monthly cycle is generally 28 days long, which means that we have chemicals going through our bodies and they change throughout those 28 days. However, a man's cycle is only 24 hours, so a woman's cycle is a lot longer than a man's, which is why we're kind of so different, I guess. But also as well, she talks about the fact that this monthly cycle is exactly the same as the lunar phases, so the cycles of the moon, and I've always been obsessed with the moon and its cycles, so that immediately got my attention. And if you're thinking, where are you going with this, I'll explain it more in a moment. And then also on a wider scale, it also corresponds with the seasons of the year, so spring, summer, autumn as we call it in the UK, or fall as you call it in the US, and winter. So I want you to keep those phases in mind as I'm talking through this, because it kind of blows your mind of how they all fit together. So now that you've got those three different cycles in your mind, I'm going to try and piece them together and tell you how you can use those phases in order to be more productive in your life. So I think the best way to describe it is to walk through spring, summer, autumn and winter. So if you think about spring, everything's bright, everything's new, everything's fresh, there is new life in terms of animals and also flowers, so it's kind of a really bright time. Now you can actually compare that with the follicular phase of your menstrual cycle. So your follicular phase is literally just after you have had your bleed. So if you think about spring, when everything is beginning, that is also the beginning phase of your monthly cycle. Now this phase is a pretty outward phase. So if you think about how you feel throughout the month when you're on your period, all you want to do is stay inside and you don't really want to be around everybody. Well, in this phase of your menstrual cycle, you actually feel like you do want to be out there, so it's an outward phase. So it's a really good time to actually use that feeling within and use those hormones which are being released to start new projects and to plan new things. So just in terms of spring, it's a new time of year. This is a really good time to start something new. Then after spring we follow on with summer, again a pretty outward phase. We're feeling good within ourselves, the sun is shining. This is actually your ovulation stage. So during ovulation, it's actual a scientific fact that we produce hormones in our body to make us more attractive to other people. That is honestly a scientific fact. So this is a really good time to plan social events. If with your work you have to do speeches or things like that, then that is a really good time to plan those into your diary, because you will be feeling the best and you will be able to perform your best. You're going to be more energetic, you're going to be more creative, you're going to be more articulate, and you're also going to be more magnetic to other people as well. So that is a really good time to schedule social events and also schedule talks and things for your work. Then after ovulation, your body then prepares to be pregnant, if it is pregnant, or you will release that egg and your menstrual cycle will come. So after summer, we then have autumn, or fall if you're in the US. Now in autumn, this is where things start to come to an end. Obviously the leaves fall off the trees. If you liken this to the luteal phase of your cycle, if you haven't become pregnant, your body will then start to get rid of that egg that it has released after ovulation. So we've now gone from being in an outward phase to moving into more of an inward phase. This is where we start to feel like we want to bring everything in. We might not feel like we want to go out as much. So it's just making that transition into that part of the cycle. Now this is a really good time to finish any projects that you might have started in the springtime, so at the beginning of your cycle. This phase actually lasts for around 12 to 14 days, and it's at this phase where you might feel like you're starting to get a bit slower. In the summertime you were very energetic, and now you're starting to slow down, ready for winter. So like I say, this is a really good time to finish any projects that you have started in the spring or summertime. That then moves us into the winter phase. Now this is your menstruation, or when you have your monthly bleed. This is very much an inward time. As most of you know, if you've had periods, this is the time where you just don't want to go out. You just want to stay in your pajamas, you want to wrap up warm, and you just want to feel a little bit sorry for yourself. The reason that happens is because your body actually stops producing progesterone, and that makes your physical energy a little bit lower. So this is a really good time in terms of productivity to analyze everything, to reflect on what you've done over the last month, and to really tie up those loose ends. Don't be afraid to take time to rest at this point. Don't be annoyed at yourself if you're not feeling like going out and about. If you really take time to honor these phases, you will actually find that you get more done. So you are more productive because you are using those times where you have the energy to do certain things within your monthly cycle. I know that when you do get your monthly bleed, it just does feel like you don't want to do anything, but because everything is slowing down, it actually makes you smarter and more logical as well, which makes this an excellent time to just reflect on everything that you've done over the last few weeks. I know that I've crammed a lot of information into a really short space of time, so I really do recommend that you read the book, but I hope that it gives you a general idea of how it can all work. I know I've not really talked much about the moon, but again, the monthly cycle relates to the phases of the moon as well. So back in the days where we were more connected with nature, there wasn't a lot of distractions like technology and things like that. Women actually had their periods at the same time, essentially. And what was really interesting was there was almost like two sets of females that would have their periods at the same time, and it actually worked out that some of them had their monthly bleed at the full moon, and then some of them had their monthly bleed at the new moon. So when those females were feeling like low in their winter time, the ones that had their monthly bleed on opposite cycles, they were there to actually look after those females who were having their monthly bleed. So they were kind of helping each other out, and I found that so fascinating. So I think in essence it's really important to honor your monthly cycle and go with the flow, so to speak. Honor those hormones and know that they have a purpose and that they are going to serve you in a certain way throughout the month. And just recognize that there's going to be highs and lows, summers and winters, and maybe plan your months so that you can do those tasks to suit how you're going to be feeling at that particular time. Now, I know that some of you watching may not actually have a monthly bleed. You might be on the pill, you might be pregnant, or there might be other reasons as well. And it's just really important to know that even though you might not be having your bleed, you will still have those cycles. So it's all about listening to your body and knowing how you're going to be feeling so that you can predict it in the future. Now, my friends actually used to laugh at me so much because for as long as I can remember, I have always tracked when I had my monthly bleed. Literally, I now have apps, but I used to have red sticky notes that I would put in my diary so that I would know when I would bleed. My monthly cycle tends to change slightly every month, which a lot of people's do, to be honest. However, I can still use that information, or this information that I've taken from this book, for to use when I am planning my months in advance. So I think this is amazing. Let me know what you think. I think it's absolutely mind-boggling, and everybody needs to know this. Even men need to know this because they can then relate to the females in their life and know that, you know, they're going to be feeling one way at one time and not another. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you go and check out the book. I'll leave a link in the description box below. I'll also leave a link to her Instagram as well because I think she's amazing. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and don't forget to click that bell button to be notified of when new videos go live. I know that I have been slightly sporadic with my videos just lately, but I've been super busy on my other channel, so please just bear with me. Thank you all for being so supportive, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!